Today we're talking about submitting to the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. I'm Sahithi Akula and I'm a product manager at Prolific. Quick agenda, we're just gonna go through gathering metadata for the Apple App Store and then also for the Google Play Store. There are differences. And then going over a recommended timeline that your product team can follow to start gathering all that data. So first we're gonna start off with submitting to the App Store. First we're gonna talk about the size and the rating. So when you upload your build to iTunes Connect, it goes through a process of thinning, encryption, and recompression. So you want to make sure that the compressed size of the app that your users will download over cellular Wi-Fi is under 100 megabytes. So after your build has been approved and after it's been through the Apple review process, the size will update to reflect the final value, and that's what you'll see in the App Store under the information section. And going on to rating, so who should be downloading your app and who should you be targeting this towards? So everyone is for ages 4+. If your app has a little more sensitive information or content, you'll have to choose the rating for 9+, 12+, or even 17+. So moving on to the version. If you're submitting a 1.0 version, you won't have to have content or metadata for the what's new section in your App Store listing. But if you are submitting another version past 1.0, so like a 1.1 or a 5.3, whatever versioning system you're on, you will need to have a what's new section and content in that section. So it's not needed for a 1.0, but it is required for an update. And you can have any type of content you want in there. Twitter's is just really short and simple, so a few updates to make Twitter even better. Happy tweeting. The content in your What's New section doesn't affect whether or not you're going to get featured or not. It's just for your users to know that you fix some bugs or there are a couple new features that are worth mentioning. This is a really great spot for you to draw in your users. You can treat the name as kind of like your tagline in the App Store listing. You have around 49 words or 255 characters max, so definitely utilize the real estate that you have. And this is also a great opportunity to sneak in some search keywords. So for Flipboard, it's your social news magazine. Most of the app names are between 5 to 6 words, so it's okay that it is a little long and it's okay that there is an ellipsis at the end of the name. But don't worry, because the bundle display name, the one that you put in Xcode, is going to be the name that shows up underneath the app icon on your device home screen. And it's not going to be the name that you put in iTunes Connect or the name in the App Store listing. So if you were on your device and you had Jet installed, under the app icon, it wouldn't say the smartest way to shop and save online. It'll just say Jet. Going on to search keywords. So like I mentioned in the app name, search keywords are words and terms that you need to upload into iTunes Connect to better optimize for search. And you only have 100 characters max, and that also includes commas. So you have to be very strategic with the keywords that you are choosing for your app. Try to think of the brand positioning and also market research and how your users are searching for your brand or your products on Google or any other type of search engine to best come up with keywords for iTunes Connect. The description. Social proof is really important. If you have a lot of great data and analytics and even just, number of users or number of downloads from a previous version, definitely use it in your description. So with Clear, over 2.5 million people declutter their lives with Clear. That's a great way to show your users that, 2.5 million people are using Clear, so you should be one of them. So make sure that there's a problem and then a solution with the app that you've built. And you only have a few lines. The majority of users do not click on the More button. So use the first couple sentences to really draw in your users and make those first couple sentences the most interesting and the most attention-grabbing part of the description. And also localize if needed if you have an international app, so make sure to localize the description to make sure that international users will also understand what the app does in the description. When you're uploading a new version or a new build to iTunes Connect, you can change the description metadata in there for the new release. So you can experiment with different descriptions to see what's attracting more installs or more opens, whatever you want to track. If you change the description for a 1.1 and notice that you've gotten a lot more installs than a different description 1.2, you can start to implement some of those findings from the previous experimented description. The license agreement is basically Apple's way to make sure that you are allowed to build and publish apps. It does default to the first option, which is the option that we need to choose, but just make sure that you read the EULAs to make sure that what you're selecting is what you need to select. Cool, so moving on to the app icon and the app preview. One of the biggest things about an app icon is to make sure that you can test it on different backgrounds. If users have a dark background or a lighter background for their home screen, you want to make sure that your app icon still stands out on both of those contrasts. Also, when you upload your app icon asset into iTunes Connect, make sure there are no rounded corners because Apple does apply a mask to that. In your app preview is a quick app video highlighting the main features of your app. The max is 30 seconds, so make sure that it's under 30 seconds. You have to optimize it for 4-inch, 4.7-inch, 5.5-inch, and then iPad as well. And on to the screenshots. You have to make sure that it's compatible for all phone sizes, and there's only a maximum of 5 screenshots, so you can't have more. And best practice is to annotate your screenshots. So when you do have a screenshot, make sure you explain what that screen does and make sure that your user knows what's going on in that screen. And Apple does recommend using an iPhone frame with annotations for each of those screenshots, as you can see on the pictures on the right. And these are the categories that you have to select when you upload your app to iTunes Connect. The secondary category is optional, so you don't need to do that necessarily. But not too long ago, Apple released a shopping category underneath the lifestyle section. So if your app is related to e-commerce or retail, make sure to select that. And going on to Apple Watch, if you do have an Apple Watch, you do have to upload screenshots into a watch kit. It does share the same information as your app name, description, and keywords, so you won't have to be coming up with a new app name or a new description. It'll share the same thing as your existing iOS app. Apple also recommends to not include the watch in your preview. So your preview should only have footage of your iPhone app, not the watch. As for screenshots, only 1 is required and you can have up to 4. And then Apple also does apply a circular mask to the icon on the watch face. Metadata is editable when your app is waiting for review or preparing for submission. And also if your app has been rejected by Apple, you can edit the metadata, but it is not editable when your app is in review or pending developer release. So after Apple approves your app, you cannot change the metadata. So make sure what you're putting in there before Apple reviews it and before you submit it for review is definitely what you want. And also just some great links that'll help you gather metadata or get more information about it. Link the iTunes Connect developer guide, and then also the developer guides for submitting an Apple Watch app and then also submitting an Apple TV app. Moving on to submitting to the Google Play Store. So starting off with the content rating, when you are in the Play Store console and about to upload your build, you will have to take a questionnaire and Google will determine your content rating. And the different ratings are for everyone ages 10 plus, teen, mature, and adults only. And the size is the same for uploading to iTunes Connect. It's 100 megabytes maximum. For the application type, so this is very similar to the primary and secondary categories for iTunes Connect, but you have the option to either choose between games or applications before you get to the applications type. But for the sake of this presentation, we're going to stick with the applications part. There are key differences between Apple categories and the Play Store categories. The biggest being is that shopping is its own category instead of a subsection of lifestyle. The short description is your app's tagline, and you only have up to 80 characters. So for Instagram, it's Instagram, like, capture, and share the world's moments. So that should be the tagline and the attention grabber for your users. Your users may not click the read more button right below the short description, and that's where your long description lives. So if your user doesn't click that button, it all kind of relies on the short description. But with the long description, it also includes the search keywords. So there isn't a field in the Play Store console that allows you to enter your keywords. You need to make sure that the keywords are baked into your long description. So each keyword should be used between 3 to 5 times for the best optimization. It may sound a little repetitive to the user, but whatever gets the best optimization for search. And you have up to 4,000 characters for the long description. For screenshots, you can have up to 8, and there's a minimum of 2. For submitting to iTunes Connect, you can only have a maximum of 5, but with the Google Play Store, you have the maximum of 8. So if you have a lot more screens that you're trying to show off, you can utilize the real estate for screenshots as best as possible. And your feature graphic is very unique to the Google Play Store. This isn't something that's in the Apple App Store. Google really wants to make sure that the feature graphic is not an ad for your brand or for your app. It's just a nice, fun graphic that'll show up at the top of your App Store listing. And it's also required to be featured anywhere in the Play Store. So if you are thinking long-term and definitely do want to get featured, your feature graphic is going to be that asset that Google takes. And one really unique feature that the Play Store console has is experimental listing. This is a place where you can run A/B tests on your App Store's listing page. You can test your screenshots, your app icon, or your descriptions. So in this example, in the image below, the experiment was a shortened long description, and we got some really great data. We saw that the current installs actually increased, and just the total number of installs increased. So this partner of ours actually applied the shorter long description because we saw a lot more results than the previous long description that we uploaded for the 1.0. I also linked the developer console help that also lists out the dimensions of screenshots and specific information that you need for your metadata. And this is just a recommended timeline for your product team to start gathering metadata and information from the rest of the team or even the partner. It's really great to start thinking about a test flight or a beta in the video 4 weeks out, just to make sure that it goes through a lot of testing and partner approvals for the video, since the video and the app preview is one of the biggest parts of your App Store listing. Similar to the app icon and the imagery, you want to make sure that you start gathering this information and all this metadata about 3 weeks out, also to make sure that the partner has buy-in and partner has approval for it. The description, keywords, and metadata, depending on your product team, can be thought of and finalized around 2 weeks out. And for iOS, when you submit on the day of, it takes about 2 weeks for Apple to pick up your app in iTunes Connect and review it. And then after Apple approves it, then you have the option to release it. But with the Google Play Store, once you submit the build in the Play Store console, it's released. It takes about 2 to 3 hours for it to actually populate onto the Play Store. So there isn't an approval process with Google Play. So make sure that when you are gathering your metadata and gathering the appropriate information that you need to upload and release, that you are thinking of the differences and timelines for the approval process.